Why hello! Welcome back to another semester at Orilium and another round of Magical Readathon. This is the 4th year, I believe, of our reimagined Magical Readathon. So for those who actually started around that time and have not swapped their careers, you may be graduating with masters this year. But perhaps you are flaky like Dovanthia, in which case you won't. But welcome back to another semester. We have new careers, we have some new opportunities, we have new prompts as per usual, and there will also be, a little drum roll, dragons. I'm very excited for this round, but before I get into the details, if you're new here, hello! Welcome. We would love to have you at the Orilium Academy. I understand this might seem a little bit overwhelming. This is a fantasy kind of roleplay based readathon that helps you with motivation as well as having a little bit of fun with it. There is a video, it's slightly outdated now, so I might attempt at some point a new one. Link down below if you want to know a little bit more on how to start. But if you also can't be bothered with that, understandable. You only need to do 3 quick things. Thing number 1 is to create a character. You can use this file here, linked in the G drive down below. Pick what type of person you're playing, pick where you're from. Step number 2 is use this file, also in the same place in the G drive, to pick a profession you would like to go and study for at this Magical Academy. You can also just stop there and join us, see how you like this, try it out. Or if you want to go a step further, you can also do this quiz to be sorted into a guild based on your answers. And genuinely, that's it. You don't have to backtrack and do all of the stuff if you don't want to. You can just create a character and join us and we can read together. Orilium Academy has 2 semesters. We have a spring equinox and we also have autumn equinox. This is the spring equinox and it takes place from the 1st to the 30th of April, so the whole entire month of April. We also have what we call an all-nighter where we stay up. Again, I'm doing this because I don't stay up. Historically, I very much advocate for good sleep hygiene. Some people choose to stay up and that's fine, but we block out 24 hours during one of the weekends of April. This time it's the 19th to the 20th of April. I think we're gonna start at 2 p.m. It's up to you whether it's 2 p.m. your time or if you want to match mine. I live in Scotland, so it is the UK time zone. I normally try to start with some reading sprints online here with you guys to keep each other company while we do the all-nighter. There's also normally a couple more live streams. It depends how I feel. We just kind of like go with it, during which we have some quizzes, some games, some spin the wheel reward things. You get some points. Anyway, it's good fun. The longest sprints do happen during the all-nighter, so I want to give you the dates for that if you want to mark it up. But let's get into it, starting with some careers and opportunities and qualifications. We do have not 1, not 2, not 3 also, but 4 new careers because I am not great at narrowing things down. I've actually asked you guys on Discord to check what you would prefer for a career. I picked some of the suggestions, merged some of the suggestions, checked some suggestions from my own list from back when. One of the highly requested one was actually something to do with languages and linguistics, which is funny because I actually had it in the very original list of possibilities for myself, but just did not make the cut. But for those who are into languages, that one of the new ones is the Lexomancer, as there is no shortage of different used or forgotten languages throughout LDF. It definitely makes sense to have a discipline that focuses on discovering them, learning them, translating them, and seeing what sort of effect on magic different languages or even dialects can have. I'd like to imagine that having the same spell pronounced differently, conjured differently, with different type of meanings behind the words, considering the differences in languages, may actually yield different magical results, and then combining different languages as well has a possibility to be a very interesting career for those who are intrigued by it. I'd say it falls into somewhere of a medium range of difficulty. So as you know, the spring equinox is the one where normally historically we have fewer books to read than the autumn one, because the autumn one is the extra challenging time. Conjuration, spells and incantations, inscription, lore and restoration, so 5 books to read in spring. I believe 7 in autumn. Next addition to our careers is Hearthkeeper. I got a lot of requests for some type of culinary chef cooking situation. Let's make cooking magical. I really like the idea of this career because I think food is very comforting, but it can also be very useful. It sustains our bodies, and I feel like why shouldn't it have a more magical meaning to it. Hearthkeepers have the ability to infuse food with magic, whether that's protective, enhancing, commercial, domestic, or more to do with academia. I particularly like this aspect where you can actually attach people's memories to a specific food, because I think it's very akin to real life, where you eating something from your childhood and it brings back memories from there, or if you have certain associations with certain foods to certain people. Like I have a lot of foods that remind me of my family, because obviously where I live now is not the cuisine I grew up with. So I thought having that kind of cognitive effect on the food as well was very interesting. And if you choose to study for this, you will need to pass alchemy, spells and incantations, elemental studies and restoration. So that's 4 books for spring equinox, 5 in autumn. So just 1 book more than spring. The 3rd edition is tome binding. Again, I got a lot of librarian bookstore suggestions. A lot of them are already kind of covered under the scribe career. So if you do like tome binder, but you would prefer to have a bit more adventurous side of things, or more so recording things and writing things, scribe might be the way to go. But if you do want to go for more, I guess passive, maybe that's not the best way to describe it, but tome binders are people who bring other people's stories to life. So they can enhance reading experience by putting basically illusion magic and, you know, sparkles or scenery or anything else that could enhance the reading experience, but they also can maintain more wild magic in the academic setting, into the workbooks where magic is so potent. Normally, if you read it, you will cast it. They prevent that, so people can also study magic without having the chaos of magic happening around you, which is not a small feat. So it's a very important profession. Scribes have like a subsection of their career being going into expeditions looking for rare tomes. Tome binder is more on the listening side of things and recording and making it accessible, which I think is very beautiful actually. And it is on the easier side. I think only herbologist is on the same level or easier. So if you're looking for something that's a little bit more achievable, this could be a good shout, because it only requires Art of Illusion, Spells and Incantations, and Inscription, which is 3 books for spring equinox and then 4 books in autumn. So again, just like one-upping it. And another highly requested one was something a little bit more creative. So we have included Bard for you. If you're fascinated by music and the emotions that it may produce and create, if you would like to be a little bit chaotic and insert your music into situations to perhaps manipulate the mood, whether that's incite more chaos or bring people's emotions down, Bard could be your calling. I think having a career dedicated to producing magic in a more creative way, which is a little bit like a theme of the year in general, I feel like a lot of these careers could fall into that category, is quite nice. So I hope you will enjoy it. I managed to miss that from my printout, so I will insert it here and I'll fix that before I upload them for the requirements. And so those are the 4 new additions to the careers. Let me know if any of these are making you want to swap from one career to another. Remember that if you do, you will be restarting it from the, was it adept, novice level? And then at the end of that file, we also had opportunities and qualifications, which is a little bit more chill and it can act as an addition to your career. These are not necessary, by the way. So you do need to pick a career. You do not need to go for any additional opportunities or qualifications, but if you want an extra challenge, this is also a good way to get there. So we have 2 new ones. The first one is the Impling Sitter scheme, and it says, do you have a passion for chaos? With the Impling population at Orilium increasing exponentially in the last few years, I wonder why, there's an impressive need for Impling sitters. These devilish creatures are tricky at the best of times, and understandably, people want to know that their precious chaos babies are in safe and capable hands when they're away or in need for uninterrupted days of studying. We're offering a course that will train you on the most necessary emergency chaos situations, as well as a general Impling grooming, first aid, and feeding care. You will also be trained in most fire extinguishing spells, locking mechanisms, cleaning and repairing incantations, return to sender spells, for stolen goods, and net tossing, which is my personal favorite. For the requirement of this is read a book with an animal familiar. So this is a qualification that obviously will allow you to do that. And then we also have an opportunity, which is the Leyline Train Conductor. This is where I have filled in a gap of what is the most used transportation. Of course, you know, we have rift architects and teleportation being a means of traveling through Eldia, which we have already established, but not everyone is able to use magic and not everyone chooses to use magic. And it's not necessarily an easy way of travel and requires some experts. And you know, we also have sand ships as well, but the most common and the most accessible means of travel, longer distances, is the trains that hover above ley lines, and you can kind of imagine like a little shiny smoke underneath it. We don't have wheels despite the picture used here. Just imagine that hover above the ley lines. A Melorite magic is what gives them the energy to move forward, and I thought that was cute. And the requirement for this read is to read a book with the word train in the title or train on the cover. This one also has a tiny cheat on it because it can be like train, like training rather than train the vehicle. You can be as cheeky as you want with that. We are 4 careers and 2 qualifications and opportunities richer this year. The file is getting longer and longer. I'm wondering how many more round that my stapler will just give up on this. So far so good though, so far so good. But let's talk about dragons. So this year we're doing things a little bit differently. I feel like last couple of years we have really gone into side quests, and those were really fun, and I hope you guys enjoyed it, and they're still there if you want to go on those side adventures as well. But I really wanted to do something that is a little bit more communal, a little bit more maybe low-key, but still exciting and still adventure-like. So, as you know, every year we kind of aim to beat our previous semester record. Well, previous semester of the same semester, because spring is not autumn. Autumn we always read more because we have more to read. So we're trying to beat last year's spring semester. So the figure was 6,008,927 pages and 17,983 books. So we're still trying to beat this record this time. But this year, we're also a little bit extra motivated, I hope. There do be dragons. So throughout the month, we will be keeping a very keen eye on our page trackers specifically, not necessarily books, but the pages. Every time we hit 1 million, well, up to 5, we will be able to rescue or discover a new dragon. And we're also going to be playing a bit of a who's that Pokemon type of situation every time before we discover one. So you'll be seeing probably a lot of this graphic. Obviously, I cannot show you much just now. We will have a smaller kind of companion happening just before we start going on to the quote-unquote more proper dragons, although I feel like that's a little bit offensive to the first one. But the first one, I'm just gonna say, the first one is a little shits and giggles. The first dragon, we're going to find him in a trash can. The first dragon burps sparkles and smoke comes out of the other end. So we're setting the theme here. However, once we have discovered the first little dragon, then we will get a silhouette only version of where the question mark is of the first dragon. Then once we hit the first 1 million, we will reveal the first dragon. I'll tell you a little bit about what kind of dragon it is, what sort of abilities they have, what sort of vibes they give out. And at that point, the graphic will of course have the full dragon revealed above the 1 million mark, and a silhouette only image will appear where the 2 million mark is. Once we find the second one is also going to be in full, and then we'll uncover the third dragon's silhouette. You get I hope that you get the gist, and I'm really excited for this one because it feels like it gives us a communal goal. We're working together. Hopefully we're going to get into the habit of logging the books throughout the month, which goes for me as well. It is possible that we're going to fail at saving some of these dragons, but 1 million pages is a lot of pages, so you just never know how this year will go. And I think if we do beat the previous record, there's going to be a bonus extra celebratory dragon. At the end of the semester, I will also be putting a kind of personality quiz, so once you fill that out, you can see which dragon you're going to bond with. So your character has an option to bond with one of the characters that we managed to save throughout this semester. You cannot have all of them, but you can if you choose to bond with one. It's something that we can do together. I haven't decided yet if when we get them, we will have a little live stream to show them. They're definitely going to appear on Discord though, so definitely make sure that you're there or following Magical Readathon Instagram or my Instagram. I probably will share both places, so I'll link it down below. So YouTube, Discord, and Instagram is the places to be for now. So whilst I can't actually reveal the dragons to you, we will be working throughout the month to rescue them and discover them, and I'm really excited to talk dragons with you. We of course have Logan drawing them for us. There's some really fun ones. I hope you will like the large variety that we have of the types of dragons. Some of them are cute, some of them are fierce. You know, we have a selection. Okay, let's get to the meat of it all. Let's talk about the prompts. As always, we have the syllabus file for you in the G drive, but I'm going to walk through the prompts with you just in case some of them need a little further explanation than what we could fit in here, because I did try to keep it short. We only have pass or fail in spring, so it's nice and simple. Every class requires one separate book. You cannot double up unless you spend some of your guild reputation points in the Guild Emporium, which friendly reminder exists. Prompts, we have 14, so nice and easy. For alchemy, we are studying volume magnification, and the prompt for this is a book with a title that is written in all capitals. I just so happen to have an example near me. You know how some books have a title that is in capitals and lowercase, and then some of them have a title that is all capitals. So we're looking for the latter. Next we have animal studies, and we are studying raccoons. That's just it. Just raccoons. Raccoon studies. And the prompt is steal a book from another TBR. We have had before, and I try to pick kind of consistently because I know that people enjoy doing them. So if it's not broken, why fix it? But we have a good mixture of different and new. I hope you will like them. You can watch TBR videos or find some TBR photos. Find your fellow mages on Discord and ask them to share their TBR. And if you see a book that you would like to read, you can yoink it from their TBR and put it in your own. Raccoon style. For Art of Illusion, we are studying distance manipulation. This one is very much inspired by objects are closer than they may appear. And the prompt is nice and easy, hopefully, but the book you already planned for this month. So maybe you have a book club that you want to include a book for. This is probably the most open prompt on the list, and hopefully will help you with any type of mandatory reading you may have. For astronomy, we are studying this phenomenon of lightfall, which is something we celebrate around winter time, and the prompt is color wheel, which is to spin a color wheel, which you can find online, or I will try and remember to link it down below. Whatever color you get, you want to find a book that has that color as a primary color kind of on the cover. So if you get blue, you're looking for mainly blue cover. For conjuration, we are studying locational summons, and for this we are using a random country generator. There's loads online. It is up to you to pick which one you prefer. Random country generator lots will pop up. I know some of them could be tricky with very limited translations into the languages that you understand, so I thought we can give ourselves like 5 tries. So generate 5 countries and then pick one of them, and then find an author from that country that you would like to read a book from. I think this is a very fun prompt, and it will likely make us look a little bit outside of what we have and maybe read from an author you would have never known from before. So, and remember that if you don't think you can do any of the prompts, there's always the Guild Emporium if you want to play by the rules. And if you don't want to play by the rules and you want to just do whatever you want, you can, because it's just not that deep. As long as you're having fun, everything is allowed. If you want to play by the rules, there's the Guild Emporium for swapping prompts, exchanging prompts, you know. Then we have demonology, and we are going back to the banishing basics. The prompt is book with a missing person. So a lot of thrillers will have that, a lot of like podcast-based books will have that. Could be a missing person if you really struggle and want to stretch it out. It could be a murder mystery. For elemental studies, we are focusing on earth element and specifically on fruits, which the prompt is fruit on the cover. Could be anything, an apple, a peach, a banana, any other more rare fruit. less basic than what I just said. For spells and incantations, we are learning a copy-paste spell. And the prompt is a word from your last book title. Again, using this because I have it new. The name of this book is The Color of Magic. So I'm looking for another book that either has the word color or magic. And then if I'm really struggling, I could also just use the or off from this book. So the book that you're reading now, or the book that you're going to be reading when you're planning your TBR, it's up to you. I would say now, just because it's fun when you're watching this. Check what the title is and then try and find another book that has one of those words in the title. For Artificery, we are studying clockwork mechanics. And another prompt, actually, I didn't realize they're side by side. At the time that you're watching this, right now, whether that's during the premiere or later, check the time in your time zone. We are not using the 24-hour thing here, but we are using the AM PM system. So if it's 3 o'clock, if it's 6 o'clock, note the time that you're watching. We need to find a book that matches that amount of either words or letters in the title. Let's say you're watching this at midnight, which would be 12. It might be challenging to find a book with a 12-word title, but you might be able to find a book with a 12-letter title. 2 o'clock in the afternoon, of course, the words are going to be easier than the letters. For those who are studying inscription, we are focusing on the hook, which means picking 3 books that you would like to read and then only reading the very first sentence of each book, and whichever intrigues you the most, just from the first sentence, pick that book to read. I think that's a fun one. It's like a first sentence challenge. For lore, we are studying the Song of Ages, and the prompt is musical term on the title, which could be anything from a note, the word music itself, melody, any type of instrument. I'd say everything counts. This one's slightly in honor of our bards. For psionics and divination, we're going to study psychokinesis, and the prompt is quite wide, it's more thematic. Read a book with witches or anything occult. Then going to restoration, we are studying uncommon antidotes. To read a book with at least 4 or higher average rating on whatever system you're using, be that Goodreads or Storygraph or any other ones that you have. We're looking for something that has at least 4 stars average rating. And if you are in a slump, I'm hoping that this is going to be the uncommon antidote that you need for it. And last but not least, we have shape-shifting, and of course, in honor of the entire semester, we are studying miniature dragons. And for that, the prompt is dragon in the title or on the cover or in the story. So maybe the title or the cover doesn't have dragons, but you know that the book itself, the world, has a dragon. Dragon somewhere is the prompt. Remember that you don't need to study for all of the subjects unless you are literally going for, for a career that requires all of them, but always check with your career what you need. So for necromancer, you would only need what's listed here. You don't need to study for everything. You can prepare a TBR for everything though, just in case you want to. I hope these sound fun, and I can't wait to see your TBRs as well. And perhaps you would like to include a guild book club into your reading plans. A reminder that if you do decide to read with your guild, alongside your guild, you also get 10 guild reputation points, which to me makes a lot of sense. But the guild book clubs happen on Discord. Again, once you join Discord, you can sort yourself into your guild, and then you will have your guild general chat that only fellow mages from your guild can see, and so you can talk with your guildies basically. There's also a room for the book club where you can talk about your book club read of that semester in a non-spoilery way, and then you can also use the spoiler tag to include a spoiler, just prefacing what the spoiler is from and about. You guys pick your own book club reads. So the first we have the submissions for the suggestions, which is the forms that are going to be linked down below. The form will close on the 17th of March, so you have until 17th of March to suggest something. Please keep it to 1 suggestion per submission. I use the random generator to then generate 4 suggestions for each guild, and then I make a second round. You guys vote out of those 4 selections, which will happen sometime the next following week. I will link this on my Instagram when it's happening, and of course on Discord. as well. I think the 2 times in a row we had 2 guilds read the same book, so technically they were like half of the guilds were reading the same book. These have gone down pretty well last time. I think people were, you know, fingers crossed, having a lot of fun with it. And again, it's just another thing that you can do together. It feels a little bit more communal, like we are actually studying in a library together. I think it's fun to talk books together. I would highly recommend participating and giving it a go. Last but not least, I guess, it's to mention that of course we're gonna have that form to submit every read that you have finished. The form just asks you to select your guild, what subject it was for, what the book is, how many pages, so we can track our progress of dragon rescuing basically this time around. The form will open on the 1st of April as our semester starts, and I think that's actually everything. I feel like I'm probably forgetting something, but I also feel like I've been speaking a lot, so maybe not. I hope this sounds fun. I hope that prompts are inspiring somewhat and doable. And again, ask your fellow mages if something is a little bit tricky, and make sure to utilize the Emporium and your guild reputation points as well. I can't wait to go back to Orilium with you. Hope you're keeping well until then. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!